Yeah, my name is Dirk Stoltenberg. I'm running what we call HR Excellence in ABB, Azea Brown Boveri Limited, a global corporation with 145,000 people and roughly 40 billion of revenues in US dollar. The HR operations, that is certainly centers, so center delivery comprising transactions plus functional aspects, so talent management, talent acquisition, comp and ben, and all of this at a local and region level. Then it also comprises the HR Excellence part, comprises HRIS, so integration, consolidation of systems, including one global HR system that we run, HR Master Data, and HR and Workforce Analytics and Controlling, since we have a global HR cost managed by HR entirely. So that's about me. If we look at the global economies, then they're no longer that stable that we thought they would have been, many years ago. So, and we certainly affected by this. I must say, from a business perspective, we have not a homogeneous business. We have a heterogeneous one, which is an asset actually. So we can compensate for some of the economic challenges we're facing by having products and system business. And the system business is just not reacting that fast to economic changes as the products business would be. But what does that say about the HR challenges? It says something. For example, we need to maintain a good products business. We need to react fast in this area. We need to have people that are even more agile than the ones in the project business. Though the ones in the project business need to just make sure that they really maintain a good margin business, right? And I think we have shown as a company that given the economic situation, still we would want to increase our net margin and just really show to shareholders that here's something worth buying ABB stocks and just investing in this company. However, I must say we have tried to build a culture of sustainability and long-term orientation rather than the quarter-by-quarter results delivery. Now, okay, look, if we go more a little towards the HR challenges, then if I look back, we started global HR in 2003 only. So before that, it was just a conglomerate of very different businesses, not only, but also organizations. So local kingdoms, company kingdoms. Now, we had a big project, what many people would call a transformation project that started in 2005. So was ended in 2010, including a global system implementation, and all of this will come with it. If you just talk to companies, most of them know it's the obvious targets and goals that you would have in a transformation. Now, and that is not really the issue. The issue is what do you do out of it. So let me tell you what I mean with this. If you have a restructuring program, a transformation program, whatever you want to call it, you hardly think about quality and what the benefit is in business that HR brings to the table. Right? Now, this is what we are at the moment. So we look into operational excellence, business excellence. We look much more into certainly delivering what the business is looking for in terms of, for example, decision making. Right? We are acting as a very, very global company. So we have improved our globalized workforce. Now that's fine and that's an asset, but how do you run this, right? So how do you show to the business, and how can the business even further improve the global workforce? How can we allocate or even reallocate resources? That asks for people data, that asks for people analytics, that asks for also managing the global workforce in the global environment. So all the bits and pieces that you have reorganized basically need to come together. So that is one. Another one to mention is learning. People these days, they no longer learn in trainings, right? So we have more and more knowledge that is not coded. And when I say coded, I mean basically written down. So documentation would not help you, because product life cycles are that quick and changes are coming that quick, I mean, by the time you have written down everything, you know, it will be just obsolete. So it doesn't help. So we have to have people that can mingle together and that can basically resolve problems on a platform which is a collaboration platform. So what we do in terms of learning, we build a learning factory from which we invest quite heavily within the next coming years, from which parts of that and big chunks of this will be more on the, you would probably call it virtual learning. So teams globally coming together using electronics, certainly, all the media possibilities we have. On the other side, we still have these platforms where locations where people are coming together and they can really sit down face to face, because I think it's just something pretty obvious. If people know each other, if we build this global workforce as a community, people will later save the money if they have met once before, right? So, and that's pretty important. And now think about what I said earlier in the project business, but also when it comes to big frame agreements on products. I mean, you have production people, as well as front-end people, as well as engineers, as well as developers, what have you, that don't necessarily speak the same language. Now here HR can do a very, very good job just really focusing on what is required. Let me just name this by a methodology called action learning. So people solve problems. Whilst they solve problems, they will be facilitated and basically will help each other, and the facilitator will help them reflecting, right? So this is something that we definitely will be focusing on. And then maybe one overall thing also, you know, we have cut costs, I think, as many other companies did. That's fine, and that had to be done. We rather focus now on the benefits, to really get the benefits out of the investments we've done and no longer cut costs, right? So I think that time is sort of over. We talk in ABB about good and bad cost. There is still some bad costs, and of course we want to avoid this. But on the good cost, we want to maintain a good level of substance that we have. Yeah, on figures, maybe I take something that is really tangible from one of our countries, one of our big countries, which is India. Look, in talent acquisition, that's the example I'd like to make. It's really very much culturally based. You know, this is nothing like one fits all. And the example I'd like to make is in India, it's normal because the market is so hot that people would accept an offer. So you send them a contract, they sign the contract, they send the contract back. But they do this 3 or 4 times. Right? So, and that's just in sequence of what offer comes in when. And so they always take the freedom in reality to just reject 2 or 3 other offers and take the one with the highest salary in it. Because money is the language they talk. Why? It's an emerging country, right? So money comes first, development comes second. However, we found this also in Italy. We had no-shows in India and in Italy. Let me just stay with the Indian case. In India, and that's around OPEX. You know, how do you run processes? How can you come closer to your, if I would call this a client, a customer, a candidate, whatever, right? It's basically the external environment versus the internal. Good. So we ran through process improvements. We have a Lean Sigma model here. So if you have a problem, that's a problem-solving methodology. HR is applying this. So we did with some data, and the Indian guys did just a fantastic job in reducing the no-show rate from 30% down to 10%. Now, if you do a little bit of arithmetics around this, we have just hired roughly 2,000 people last year in India. So whatever you calculate, even on a conservative level of calculation, that would turn into roughly $1 million of savings. And these are net savings, right? So it's spendings on recruiters, on job adverts, what have you. Because imagine, I mean, if somebody just signs a contract, you hope and you believe the person will be showing up, but you just find it out the first day, right? That the person should be showing up, and basically you start from scratch again. You lost the candidates earlier and those things. So, and I think this is one of the figures that I'd like to bring into this question of what are we proud of? Yeah, I think we can be proud of having brought in a Lean Sigma. It's actually not Six Sigma. So it's Lean Sigma. It has a lot to do with the culture we run the processes as much as some measurement, right, and some metrics. And yeah, and I have more examples on that level if somebody wants to know more. It's something that I would recommend companies to do more business excellence in HR. It pays off very, very quick. Yeah, from SSON conference today, I'm impressed about the selection of participants. First of all, I mean, we had just one company that was roughly at an amount of 5,000 employees, and all the others were way above 5,000, so ranging from half of the almost 100 participants were in this range of 20 to 50,000, and the other half was above 50,000. So what I felt just being in a good company of companies that would talk the same language. You know, if you just, we had a couple of discussions around HR strategy, and you know, how much do you need a specific HR strategy, or would that be just embedded in business strategy? Whatever it is, right? You just feel in a peer group discussing those things, which helps a lot, first of all. Second, I must say, I think the variety of topics covered today, from cloud business, you know, running HR in the cloud, up to processes, still of course a little bit around transformation. There are still many companies just struggling with that piece, but okay, that's fine. And into HR processes, HR IT, master data, change management even, what have you, just within one day. I mean, that was quite a variety, and I found this really inspiring. If it would end today, I had already something to take with me, but there's another day, so let's see what's out there.